while the video game industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribed to enter this month's shoutout giveaway. Video games are a multi-billion-dollar industry in the United States. There are thousands of companies developing and publishing games in all 50 states. These companies are able to compete in a world market by utilizing continuous innovation and highly skilled, educated workers. Other industries. It's kind of this juggernaut that keeps on rolling. The game industry beat out the movie, music and DVD industries combined in 2008 in terms of sales. But with the recession, we've seen games be hit a bit, but I think it hit everyone. We're also at the end of the console cycle, which means people are waiting for new consoles to be revealed and launched. When consoles are released, everyone flocks to them. We saw that with the Wii, for instance. Everyone just bought it, but as sales taper off in the next 5 to 6 years, a new box or console will come out, and the excitement happens all over again. The question with Nintendo is, now that they've released the 3DS, which is a portable device that allows you to see 3D without glasses as you play games, is how well they'll sell over time. I just read a story about how it's not sold to expectations in Japan, but there's reasons for that because of the tsunami and the earthquakes. It also hasn't sold up to expectations here in the US, but I think it will over time once better games come out for the system. I think video game industries keep chugging along. One of the things I feel about the game industry as opposed to other media is that it's a bit more agile as far as both technology and forward thinking. I wouldn't say it's so much more fruitful than the other entertainment industries, but it is more agile. If a portion of the industry sees slower growth, as we saw last year with music-based games like Rock Band and Guitar Hero, the game industry isn't afraid to cut quickly and move on to the next trend. I don't think you see that agility in the other entertainment industries. Mobile gaming. I think that they are niches that don't necessarily feed off each other. Mobile is separate from portable Nintendo DSi or 3DS, which is separate from consoles, which is separate from PC gaming, which is separate from social gaming on Facebook. I feel like there's a kind of room for all. But you have these devices like the iPod Touch or the iPad or the iPhone. They're constantly upgrading, and iPad apps are not that expensive compared to console games. You can play Angry Birds for free if you want, and maybe spend a few dollars for the fuller version. On the other hand, console games cost $60 if you're not getting a discount. We may be on the wane of console gaming and actual physical disc are concerned, wane meaning the next 10 years when the broadband pipelines opens up to be a bit faster, so you'd be able to download a full console game in a much speedier way. That may mean that you won't be buying the physical medium in the stores as much. Always see it, but they won't make as much. I think there will always be a place for a fan who wants to hold the game in his hand and read the booklet, but it'll be much less ubiquitous than it is right now. With mobile gaming being so cheap, Angry Birds is only 99 cents. Do you see the console industry lowering its prices to compete? How do smaller companies and developers in the video game industry compete without nearly as much money, technology or resources? In some ways, it's a crapshoot for an indie developer without much money who perhaps will create a game and put it on the iPad or Xbox Live in hopes to get noticed or funding from a venture capitalist, or picked up by a larger publisher like Electronic Arts. I was at the Game Developers Conference and listened to a session about a pretty successful game called Super Meat Boy. These two guys just went through hell trying to finish that game on time and get it up on Xbox Live after one of them had a chronic illness, and the pressures of trying to get the game to market nearly made him have a relapse. There's a lot of deadlines and crunch time, and a hope for success, but not necessarily guaranteed success. I can almost make it akin to trying to get followers on Twitter, in a sense that you say, here I am, and then maybe it will snowball. It's kind of the same with independent developers. They not only have to deal with making of the game, but also the promoting of the game itself to try to rise above the fray. Venture capitalists. Traditionally, VCs have had a huge impact on the video game industry. They've always been a factor. For instance, if we go back to the days of Atari, Don Valentine was involved with seeding that game. There are smaller game companies, casual game companies, that get angel fund, even PopCap Games, which is a huge casual game company that produces Bejeweled and Plants vs Zombies, are looking toward an IPO. What I've heard anecdotally is there's a lot of money around right now for small social Facebook type games. I think that's where everyone is looking, but how will social games and freemium games take off once Facebook has its IPO? Will Facebook be its own platform for games? It kinda is now, but the games like Farmville and Mafia Wars from Zynga have graphics that are not that great, but people fly to them anyway. They're very savvy business-wise. You play for a couple of hours and then it asks you to pay $5 to upgrade, and then you might get rewarded some armor to protect yourself so you won't die so much in the game. The game I'm talking about is Deep Realms, where you play for just a little while and then they want you to upgrade. It's insidious, but it seems to be very effective. What can businesses learn? I think it's the agility. Folks will look to this industry and see that it's always in flux and always a step or two forward. The question question is, are there enough risk takers in any industry right now to do things that are really creative? I see creativity on the iPad. I see games that don't cost that much money to produce hitting and being fabulously successful. Games like Angry Birds and a game like Minecraft for the PC. When they take off, it's a huge payoff for not that much investment. I think that you need to stay abreast of the trend, and I think that's what people look to the video game industry. See a group of creative people in all of these niches who are willing to change their games and foresee what consumers want. What's next? I feel that we'll eventually have 3D televisions without glasses. I think 3D is where we're going. Since the 3DS has challenges, it does make you dizzy if you play over an hour. It also has not much of a viewing angle. But having said that, if they can make a television that allows a viewing angle and does not give you this feeling of vertigo, I think that would be a pretty fantastic experience. Not just for viewing television, but for playing video games. And also, people down the line experimenting with holographic gaming. I hope to see something like that eventually. I don't know if I'll live to see it, but I think that's a really fascinating idea. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos out on your screen because I'm sure you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.